What is up, bitches? Back for another amazing video. Today, NCAA simulations. We are in the Sweet 16, and we're gonna get it down to the Final Four by the end of today, guys. Let's just start off immediately. Here we go. In the Midwest region, it's been an upset-filled bracket in the Midwest region, but they're still the king of the castle at the very top. Number 1, Kansas, will be squaring off against number 12, Richmond. It was a hell of a game for a while. Very, very close, but in the end, Kansas pulls away 96-87 over Richmond. In the other Midwest game, we had number 10, USC, squaring off against number 11, Cincinnati. And just the power of probably overall lottery pick Onyeka Okongwu drove USC to the championship, or not championship, but to the win, 78-69. In the South region, it's been also very upset-filled with number 8 LSU squaring off against number 12 SF Austin. A hell of a game down to the wire, but LSU pulls away with free throws in the end, 75-72. Number 3 Michigan State squares off against number 7 Houston, and they dominated most of the game and win this 77-64. In the West region, we had number 1 Gonzaga square off against number 4 Oregon, and in the first upset of our Sweet 16, Oregon pulls away 80-74 with an absolute immeasurable 35 points from Peyton Pritchard. And then number 3 Seton Hall squares off against number 7 Providence, and Providence continues their hot run with a 75-69 victory over Seton Hall on their way to the Elite Eight. And then finally, in the East region, we have number 1 Dayton squaring off against number 12 Vermont, and they win it convincingly, 89-67. And then finally, the final game of the Sweet 16, number 3 Villanova squares off against number 10 Eastern Tennessee State. Probably the best game of the entire Sweet 16. It was a battle forever. It went to overtime, tied at, what was the exact score, just to be sure? It was tied at 96 as they went to overtime, and a buzzer beater shot by, let me get this right, I want to get the person right, Patrick Good of Eastern Tennessee State to win it 110-107. They're on their way to the Elite Eight. And then finally, into the Elite Eight here in the Midwest region, we had number 1 Kansas square off against number 10 USC, and Kansas just ran away with it, guys. The power of Onyeka Okongwu finally finishes here. A 94-76 victory by Kansas. They're on to the Final Four. And then in the Southern region, we have number 3 Michigan State squaring off against number 8 LSU. Another kind of a beatdown there. 95-81 Michigan State on to the Final Four. And then, number 4 Oregon squares off against number 7 Providence. Another double-digit win. What the fuck, Evan? Another double-digit win. 89-74 Oregon on to the Final Four. And then finally, number 1 Dayton, probably the closest game of these Elite Eight matchups. Number 1 Dayton squares off against number 10 Eastern Tennessee State. Dayton pulls away in the very end to win it 86-79. And there you have it, guys. Your Final Four is set with the simulations. We have number 1 Kansas will be squaring off against number 1 Dayton. That's going to be a hell of a ball game. And then finally, number 3 Michigan State will be squaring off against number 4 Oregon, guys. Championship game is going to be a hell of a game to watch. Those are our simulations. Just a quick little thing, though. If you go on Twitter and you follow Joe Lunardi, he has been doing a fantasy March Madness bracket. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention. I certainly have. And to be honest, after doing these simulations, I like his simulations much better. Because in his Final Four, he has somewhat similar teams. Let me just be exactly sure here. His Final Four, he has Kentucky versus Florida State, and then Gonzaga versus Michigan State. So, we have one team the same here. That's pretty cool. But I definitely like his Final Four better. He's got Kentucky versus Florida State, and then Gonzaga versus Michigan State. Wouldn't it be cool to restart the whole season? Seasons basically started with 1 versus 2, Kentucky versus Michigan State. It'd be a hell of a time to have Kentucky versus Michigan State to end the year as well. But those are our simulations, guys. I also urge you to go check out Joe Lunardi on Twitter to see his fantasy bracket March Madness predictions on where they're at. But let's see, guys. Next week, we will have our crown champion. Remember, Kansas versus Dayton, Michigan State versus Oregon. Let's see who is the simulated champion of the NCAA world. We'll see you next time.